No way. There's nobody else out there. He's your guy. Give a big round of applause for the one and only Bodkin Show. I'm going to repeat that again, folks. I didn't stutter. Welcome to the Bodkin Show.
Ooh, good morning, everybody. Man, welcome to another great episode of the Bodkin Show. This is our Wednesday weekly wrap-up. Before we get into the wrap-up with sports, man, we got to wrap up the last week of my life. So, man, what a long weekend. I had it started off really well. I went to a Wiz Khalifa concert on Friday night. It was Wiz and Logic, and maybe I'm just showing my age. I never thought Wiz would open up for Logic, so let's start there first. Got to the concert a little late. I thought we missed Logic because I was prepared to sit through his set to get to Wiz Khalifa. And I was like, oh, Wiz, Logic got a few songs I know. But then the DJ Drama was there, and he was like hyping up Wiz. And I was like, man, do we miss Logic? And the guy was like, nah, you just missed some local folk. I'm like, all right. Then all of a sudden, like, this lady turns behind me. She's like, Wiz is opening up for Logic. I'm like, what the? So then, after that, Wiz came on, put a heck of a show on. I mean, just banger after banger after banger by Wiz Khalifa. It was a great show. That was my Friday night. Me and my lovely wife. First rap concert I've ever been to, and Wiz killed it. I mean, absolutely killed it. We stayed for a few songs to Logic, dipped home early. Too old to be staying out that late. Then we get to Sunday. And if you are a fan of the show and you've been watching, and I kind of talked about this on Monday, Sunday was supposed to be a great NFL preview show. I was super excited about the NFL preview show. We were going to break down every division. Kenny and Craig were going to have a little K&K Fantasy Corner. Right before that, I was kind of sick all day. Was sick. And but I was like, hey man, I felt it okay. We were right before Kenny's like messaging. He thinking he's about to have a baby. His wife's it could happen any day now. So he's like, I can't do it. I'm like, all right, well, we'll power through. Me and Craig. Right before we went on air, I told Craig, hey man, I'm sick, man. Like I'm going through it. But I was like, right before we went on air, I threw up. So I was like, man, all right. I thought maybe I'd feel better. We're going through it. And I just did not have no energy, no nothing. That show was still good, but not as great as I wanted to be. And then I had to leave in the middle of the show because I just didn't stop throwing up. I mean, I ended up going to the ER. They probably thought I was a drug addict. I couldn't breathe. I couldn't talk. Come to find out, I had gallstones in my gallbladder. I mean, I was sitting there like this. They're asking my name. Give me all the drugs. I'm about to tear whatever's inside of me out of me right and now. Luckily, they just said, you got some gallstones. They gave me a lot of medicine. Back to normal. I got my energy back, folks. I'm excited to be here. So, but then on Monday, came back on the air Monday. We did a nice little fantasy, did my live fantasy, big fantasy draft for you guys. If you want to check that out, check out my team, our league. It was a lot of fun. Couldn't meet up at the bar just due to I was still under the weather, so we just went ahead and streamed it. It was a lot of fun. Then did Bodkins and Buffoon. That was great. Ryan Larson gave some nice fantasy picks, and we spoke, kind of previewed some games. Tonight, we'll be back on tonight. Our Wednesday night NFL weeks preview that'll happen tonight. We'll come live to you 8:30 Central PM. That is obviously me, Kenny, Craig. We'll be breaking down each game, giving our picks against the spread. We got a little guest picker each week, hopefully to come in. So I'm excited for that. They're going to be Kenny and Craig going to give a little weekly previews of fantasy, some guys you should stay away from, some guys that, must starts and must sits, probably should sit. And as the weeks go on, we'll get into some waiver wire stuff as well, like who should be looking at waiver wire wise. But I mean, week one, my philosophy is, hey, you just drafted, stick with the guys you drafted. There's no need to, funky too much up in week one, because out of anything, week one means the less. Before we get into our weekly stuff, we got some comments rolling in. Paul Hope, my buddy. So what's up, buddy? What's up, Paul, man? All the way across the pond. Paul's giving a nice listen. Appreciate your support, Paul. Paul Paul's getting hyped for the official 49ers UK watch party on Sunday. Nice. I mean, obviously not a 49ers fan, you know that, Paul, but hey, anytime somebody gets into football, especially all the way over in Europe, man, is fascinating to me. That just shows you how much fun football is, because we all know that soccer's king over there, and I can't get into soccer for nothing over here. Maybe in the World Cup, maybe because USA just absolutely sucks, Paul. That's the reason I can't get into soccer. But I think we're supposed to have a team in this upcoming World Cup, so we'll see. Obviously, I get behind it in the World Cup. I just don't understand all these different leagues that go on over there. But, Paul's rooting for the 49ers, big 49ers guy. So we'll see. I like the 49ers. I got Trey Lance on my fantasy team, Paul. I have Brandon Ayuk on a bunch of fantasy teams. So I'll be kind of rooting for the 49ers. Paul chiming in. He doesn't watch anything else. Paul, you need to move to the States, baby. All right, let's get into it, man. So there's not a whole lot of NFL news. My wife loves to put the old, a lot of Cool Whip in the coffee. But anyway, let's get into it. NFL news here. I'm not going to go into a lot. We're going to be breaking down everything in week one. So these Wednesday meetings, Wednesday mornings will be just kind of, highlight some things that I like to see. But in some injury news, but nothing huge here. Mitch Trubisky scheduled to start week one. All kind of what we expected. We kind of thought that Mitch would be their guy. Kenny Pickett sits as their number two. Enjoy. I like this Mitch going here for the Steelers. I'm excited to see what he can do with some good coaching. I think he's a perfect fit there. They have weapons, a good defense. Mitch he's not a world, he's not going to lose you a whole lot of games, I don't feel like, but he can, and I don't know if he's going to win you a lot of games, but he's just a kind of a guy, but I expect better things from him than what we saw in Chicago. But if it gets south quick, there'll be a big chance for Kenny Pickett real quick, real fast. More interesting here, speaking of the Bears are looking to move to a dome, move outside of the city of Chicago. Still, it's like Arlington, which is a suburb outside of Chicago, and move into a dome. I absolutely freaking hate it. Hate it. Hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it, hate it. I get it. Maybe I'm just old school, and Kenny's chiming in here. Mitch is showing you can take. Maybe I'm just old school here. I believe football is meant to be played outside. I believe teams are meant to be played in the elements. And I believe, maybe because I'm a Packers fan, that when you go to Chicago and you got that wind coming off them lakes, team's supposed to adapt to that. That should play to your advantage. I hate teams that play in a dome. I get why they do it. I get why Chicago wants to do a dome, because if you get a dome, then they can put the Super Bowl in Chicago and this and that and all the money. And, for viewing experiences at the game, it's hard to get fans to the game because sitting at home is just so much comfortable. So you put in a dome, it makes it better. But I just enjoy, even at home, I enjoy watching games in the element. Like, if I one day when I go to Green Bay, I hope it's -32. I want to be bundled up. I want to feel that. In the elements. I'd rather go to a Green Bay game at -32 than when it's 105, because that's not football weather, folks. I think the Lions should be playing outside. Minnesota should be playing outside. All those teams should be playing outdoors in the elements. Take advantage of that weather in those southern teams when they come up and they have to hit that cold weather and that cold streak. What are the Bears freaking doing? Yeah, move to a dome. You're already soft as freaking Charmin. Now you're going to even be softer, Chicago Bears. You're spitting in the face of Mike Ditka and George Halas and all them boys if you get a freaking dome. Get out of here with this talk of a dome. I'm not even a Bears fan, and I hate the idea of Chicago. First of all, moving out of the city of Chicago, and you're going to call yourself Chicago Bears. Then at that point, you're not Chicago Bears. You're the Arlington Bears, the Illinois Bears. All right? You're not the Chicago Bears. And then you're going to move into a dome? I hope you don't ever see. I already hope you don't win, but then if you do that move, I already hope you don't ever win. Get out of here. Gosh. Resident Bear fan Craig Coger chiming in. Bears need a new stadium, small seating capacity in football, but I hate the Bears in the dome. Halas would have never had it. It's all money driven, hosting Super Bowls. Exactly. I mean, I get it. We understand why they're making the move. We understand why they're doing that. It's for money. But get out of here. Save yourself. I mean, Singletary, Ditka, all them boys, that's spitting in the face of them. Get out of here. I get that. They should have never renovated Soldier Field a few years ago. They should have just bulldozed it down, built a new stadium in the city of Chicago. That's what they should have done. That was like, Craig, I mean, I don't know if you're still on or listening, but remember that? They renovated, I can't remember, that was early 2000s, maybe mid 2000s, when they were playing in Champaign for a whole, like almost a year and a half while their stadium was being renovated. They should have just got rid of Soldier Field then and just built a new one instead of renovating it. Anyway, let's move into some college football talk here as we get into it. I kind of went 1-1 on my picks I gave you guys last week. I had Alabama, or I had Arkansas covering. They covered. The one I didn't have is Ohio State. They didn't cover against Notre Dame. Notre Dame, there was 17. Notre Dame made it. It was still a 2-score game. The game we got to talk about here is freaking Georgia and Oregon. I mean, the defending national champions put it on Oregon. Absolutely put it on. 49-3. The number 3 team versus the number 11 team, and it was 49-3. Georgia lost dang near every starter on defense. I mean, they went 5 guys on their defense or went in the first round. I think they lost a total of 7 of the 11 starters last year on defense. And then they just put it on Georgia like that. And Oregon's coach, what came from Georgia, was the defensive coordinator at Georgia. Whoo! Everybody must have been high on Oregon. I mean, wow. And that just shows you how crappy the Pac-12 is. If Oregon's supposed to be their guy, their team, obviously Oregon's looking to come to the Big Ten or Big 12. Who knows what's going to happen with them and the Pac-12 as it slowly dwindles down. But, I mean, wow. 49-3. I'm fired up this morning. You can tell that. How does that happen? You're the number ranked 11 team in college football, and you just get beat down. Georgia. I mean, now the question is Georgia still that good? Oregon that bad? To lose Georgia, I mean, kudos to Georgia. You lost all them starters. You got all them guys in the NFL. And Kirby Smart's doing something down there, obviously. I mean, it's Alabama light, almost as good as Alabama at this point in time. And I'm not a Tide fan. We're going to talk about my team here in just a second. My team, let me talk to you about my team, the Iowa Hawkeyes. They played South Dakota State Penitentiary Junior College. And you know how many points they freaking scored? 7. 7 freaking points. Are you kidding me? And you know what the points came off of? Not even a freaking touchdown? You can't even score a touchdown? Get out of here. 2 safeties, and a field goal. That's how you got 7 points. Against a team like that. And then we're supposed to play Iowa State, our arch rival, this Saturday. And you're scoring 7 points against San Diego State A&M Cooking College. Get out of town. Get out of here. Petrus is the best quarterback you could find, Iowa. Petrus? If he's our starter, how bad is the last guy? There's somebody on campus out there smoking a bowl right now, and he could play college football better than freaking Petrus. Do a tryout. Do a tree out. Find you a quarterback. There's a guy named Paul Blake or somebody out there that could have went to college and instead daddy died and took care of the farm. Go find him. Go find Paul Blake. Go find Paul Crew. Go find Willie Beeman. Somebody. Anybody. Shoot. I've never played really professional or college football. I never played high school football because we didn't have it, but I can't be no worse than Petrus is right now. I mean, get out of here. Garbage. How do you score 7 points? We're just gonna get bum rushed by Iowa State. We got a stellar defense. We got the best punter in the nation. But we don't have an offense to speak of, a quarterback to speak of. All right, I'm not going to waste anybody's more time here on Iowa. I just had to get that out. Hopefully they watch this. All right, moving on here. I told you, kids, I'm fired up this morning. Bodkins is fired up. I'm ready. I'm ready for football season. I'm ready for tonight. I'm ready for football season. The health is back. Moving on to the NBA. Montrezl Harrell signs a 2-year deal with the 76ers, 2-year deal, $5.2 million. Another nice pickup by the 76ers to beef up. They've getting some dogs here. They added PJ Tucker, remember, early in the offseason. They're getting some dogs that can go to war. I mean, I always felt like Joel Embiid's soft as Charmin as well, but they're getting some bullies. They're getting some bullies to protect him and James Harden. They're getting those gritty guys that you need to build a championship team. Sneaky pick up by the 76ers. I mean, Montrezl Harrell was a couple years ago was sixth man of the year. Things have kind of changed for him, and he's kind of bounced around. But there's still a dog. He's still a dog. He's still got that in him. More importantly, here looks like Pat Bev and Westbrook kind of squashed their beef. I can't wait for this. Their coach has kind of Ham has kind of come out and said, "Hey, we might play them together." Man, I can't wait to see two teammates fight each other on the court. Man, it's going to be interesting. A great explosive personality. Pat Bev. They asked Pat Bev yesterday in his press conference, "Hey, how does it feel to play with LeBron James and Anthony Davis?" Pat Bev went like this. "What? They playing with me. I ain't playing with them. I made the playoffs last year, not them." Hey, oh my gosh. Well, Pat Bev is right. Pat Bev ain't leading that team in scoring. He ain't leading that team in rebounds. He ain't leading that team in assists. I mean, hey, then he was like, "We are excited." Then he come out and said, "We're excited to play with each other." But for him to say, "Hey, I'm excited. They should be excited to play with me. They playing with me. I made the playoffs." Man, that Lakers team just gets more interesting day by day by day. A lot of storylines as the NBA season will be picking up. But wow. I mean, for Pat Bev to just be like, "Hey, LeBron playing. Hey, imagine you're growing up. You're 20 years from now, and Grandpa Pat, you play with LeBron James, one of the top 5 greatest players of all time? No. LeBron James played with me. It was my team, not LeBron's team. LeBron played with me." Grandkid looking at Pat Bev sideways like, "My grandpappy LeBron played with my grandpappy Pat Bev." That is like Ron Harper saying Jordan played with him, not he played with Jordan. I mean, get out of town. Oh man. All right, let's get into the some MLB news here. I told you I'd bring it to y'all. Oh wait, let's back up. I forgot to give you some. I got all excited talking about Iowa. Got sidetracked. Got to give some nice college football pick real quick before we get into the MLB. So I'm gonna back up. Not a whole lot of ranked teams here playing each other, but I'd like to give you guys at least one good game that we should be keeping our eye out this week. So there's I thought there was another game. 2 games. Look like there's two games here against some 3 games. We're going to give you 3 games that are ranked against ranked opponents here real quick before we get into our the Bodkins baseball power rankings. So early game here on Saturday, Tennessee, 24 Tennessee, 17 Pitt. Tennessee, the favorite here at -6.5 over Pitt. I'm going to take Tennessee. I'm going to take Pitt in the points at +6.5. I think that game will be closer. So lock it in. I'm taking Pittsburgh +6.5. Tennessee could win that game, but I just think it'll be a little bit closer. I'll take Pitt in the points. And then we got I keep scrolling past it somewhere. I should have wrote it down, but I thought I could find it on my phone. There it is. Here's a big SEC showdown. Number 20, Kentucky versus number 12, Florida. Florida -5. Give me Florida. I think Florida. I mean, it's Kentucky, right? I'm gonna go Tennessee. I'm gonna go Kentucky. I'm gonna go Florida at -5 here. Lock it in. -5 for Florida. And then late nightcap game here. You got number 9 Baylor versus number 21 BYU. BYU a favorite, -3.5. I mean, I'll take Baylor +3.5 here. That means BYU's got to beat Baylor by +3.5 by a touchdown. Lock it in. Give me Baylor, baby, at +3.5. So Kenny's disagreeing with me. He said Tennessee going to roll and cover. I don't know. I know Pitt struggled last week against West Virginia, and that looked like a game that they were going to lose. Probably should have lost. I mean, the ball went right through the receiver's hands, pick 6, game over. But I just think that that was a rivalry game. I think Pitt'll bounce back here. I'll take Pitt in the points, Kenny. He's got Baylor will cover. Yeah, I think so too. Baylor's going to cover. That's why I'm picking the Baylor Bears at +3.5. So, Kenny, what do you got on? He's got Kentucky. He's saying Kentucky's. He's taking Kentucky. So we'll come back to that next week's show. Right now we're 1-1 on the season. So I'm gonna write that down. I'll give you guys my college rankings every week here. 1-1 on the season, and we'll get back to what we picked last week. So let's get into the old Bodkins Baseball Power Rankings, our final rankings last month of the season. A lot of fun is happening. A lot of divisions are kind of set. There's about 1 or 2 here that are not, but the wild card is still wide open here. But let's get into it. We're going to go bottom to top here, and then we'll just kind of wrap up there. So number 10, I got the New York Yankees, man. Just an atrocious month for the New York Yankees. Their last 10, they're 4-10 in their last 10. It just seems like they have hit rock bottom. I mean, I guess if you're going to hit rock bottom, now's the time to do it. Maybe they can recover here in this last month, but just an absolutely atrocious month for the Yankees. The Yankees were once 15 games ahead. Now they're only 4.5. They could slide into that wild card spot. The Rays are right there biting at their heels. Another team, these New York teams, man, at one time, remember, I'd say about the All-Star break, we were talking Subway Series. The Mets, I got the Mets at 9. The Mets are 5-5 in their last 10. They've lost their last 3. Looks like Scherzer's headed to the DL. DeGrom is back, but they're going to need Scherzer. Their bats are falling. They're tied with Atlanta, and we'll get to the Braves here a little bit later. But that's a series. That's a division. That's about the only division that in the AL Central. I guess I said the Rays could come back, could make that a race still. But, I mean, that's a dead heat, Atlanta and the Braves. And right now the Mets are descending while the Braves are ascending. So, I mean, I hope the Mets win because I want to see post. I'm not rooting for the Mets. I hate the Mets. But I just want to see one night. I don't care if it's the wild card game. I just want that playoff atmosphere. Edwin Diaz, little trumpet boy. And I want that. I just want that to go crazy. I think that'd be great theater. But I mean, the Mets may not they'll make the playoffs because they're like 10 games up on the wild card. But I mean, it could be just one game that they get in. It could be just one game. Looks like so. We got. Number 7 or number 8, I got the Blue Jays. They're 7-3 in their last 10. They're right there at the wild card spot, I believe. So they're the last wild card spot. They're 3.5 up on Toronto. I thought bigger things would happen for the Blue Jays, but they're only a game and a half out of the first wild card spot. Remember, folks, there's 3 wild card teams this year. It's a mess. I don't really like it, but I understand it. More teams keep competing. Whatever. Then we get to 7. Speaking of Toronto, I got Toronto at 7. They're 7-3. Again, they're right there in the wild card spot. Also, I take that back. I said the Blue Jays, and I said it was talking about Blue Jays are in the number 1 wild card spot, game and a half up on Toronto. They're tied with Seattle as well as the top 2. So it looks like those 3 teams. Baltimore is like 4.5 back. I don't think Baltimore will get in there. It looks like those are the 3 locked teams there for the 3 wild cards in the AL. Number 6 here, I got the Padres. Padres have kind of turned it around. Remember, they went all in, made the huge trade for Bell and Soto. That lineup's just going to be absolutely killer if they can make a deep run. The Padres 6-4 in their last 10. They finally look like they're getting it together at the right time. The problem is it's kind of a 2-man race for that last wild card spot between them and the Phillies. And I have to apologize to the Phillies. I thought they should have sold at the All-Star break, and here they are right then and there. So, hey, I'll tell you when I'm wrong. I'll admit when I'm wrong, and I was wrong on the Phillies here. So, my apologies, Phillies fans. My apologies. But anyway, I got the Padres. I still got the Padres sneaking past the Phillies here. And then let's go to Seattle. At number 5, I got Seattle. Seattle's hot, baby. This is the team I'm rooting for in the American League. Is the Mariners. It's been 20 years since they made the playoffs, and I think this is it. They're 8-2 in their last 10. They are hot. They're not going to win the West. There, we know that because the Astros just have such a huge lead. But I like the Mariners here to get in the number 5 on the Bodkins Power Rankings. I love what they're doing. They bought in. They're proving themselves. Let's go Mariners, baby. I hope they make a deep run. And I mean like ALCS type run, just because they deserve it. 20 years, man. 20 years, I get it. If you're a fan of a team that's absolutely garbage and then this is the year that they finally turn it around, I hope so. Kid, 20 years. Kenny's making fun of me because I keep saying 20 years. But hey, that's a long time. A long time. Kenny out here. The Brett Boone Mariners were the last team to make the play. Exactly. They can't even spell playoffs in Seattle. And now they're sniffing it at least. So I'm hoping for them. I mean, they had one of the best pitchers in a long time. Felix Hernandez just never got into the playoffs. It's, to me, I guess, like I'm just kind of partial because like growing up in the mid 90s and like you remember those great Mariners teams when they had Griffey, Randy Johnson, Jay Buhner, those uniforms, Randy Johnson, Edgar Martinez. Like the Mariners were a lot of fun. Oh, Kenny said he's not making fun of me. Yeah, it's been 20 plus years. So I thought you were just chiming in because I kept repeating that over. Anyway, so number 4, I have the team that's winning that division. I have Houston. Houston's just still running away with it. They're probably arguably the second best. They're the best American League team for sure. They just top to bottom, but Verlander's kind of been shaken up. We'll see if they can ride out the ship here. Houston just continues to keep marching on. Cardinals, I have number 3. It pains me to say this, but I have the St. Louis Cardinals. Man, those old heads are getting it done again. I'm rooting. I've kind of said this on Facebook and my Twitter. I'm rooting for Albert Pujols to hit 700. I hope he does. I think I said this last week on this show, actually, one of the best hitters of all time. But I got the Cardinals at number 3, 8-2 in their last 10. They have now officially won. They're going to win that Central Division. The Brewers have kind of pooped the bed here the last month or so. And, they're 8.5 up on the Brewers. It's over. Give it to the NL. I'll give you the NL Central crown to the Cardinals. It pains me to say that, obviously, as a Cubs fan. But, hey, You got it. I hate them because that's the reason. The reason I hate the Cardinals is this exact reason. It's because year after year after year after year, they continue to win. And you look on paper, they're not supposed to win. How are you supposed to win with 40-year-old Albert Pujols, 80-year-old Chris Carpenter, or Adam Wainwright? I'm about to say Chris Carpenter. I'm surprised Chris Carpenter's not on this team. And, 45-year-old Yadi Molina. Kenny kind of hit the nail on the head. Jordan Montgomery looks like to steal the deadline. Exactly. Everybody, there's a thing that's the Joey Gallo curse is what they're calling it in New York. Call it the Jordan Montgomery curse because they snuck him in at the last deal at the deadline. The Yankees traded him, and he's been absolutely killer for the Redbirds there. So it's not the Joey Gallo curse in New York. It's the Jordan Montgomery curse for the Yankees. I mean, he's murdering it for the Cardinals. This is the thing, folks. Nobody's paying attention to the Cardinals. Outside of here in Missouri and baseball fans, nobody's paying attention to them. And this is when the Cardinals come out of nowhere and they win in World Series because nobody paid attention to them. And next thing you know, you're looking up and you're saying, how the hell did they get here? How did they get here? How did the Cardinals get here? Well, because nobody paid attention to him. You're too busy watching the Dodgers. You're too busy rooting for Edwin Diaz. You're too busy rooting for the Braves. And here comes the 80-year-old man, and Albert Pujols is still hitting home runs, killing it since the All-Star break. Yadi Molina still gunning folks down at second. Somehow, Adam Wainwright will pitch 3 gems in the postseason, and what do you know? They're in the World Series. I've seen it 100 times, folks. I've seen it 100 times. And then I got to hear it from people like Kenny and all these other Cardinal fans. Bro, you got 2016. Now we're back. We told you. Ha, ha, ha. Well, it happens. It happens. All right, anyway, enough of my sorrows here. Number 2 team I have here, I have the Atlanta Braves. They're on a hot streak. They've won 6 in a row, 7-3 their last 10. They're tied. We talked about it. They're tied with the Mets. I think they're going to overcome the Mets here in this last month. They're playing the best in baseball. I mean, the best in that division. Like I said, the Braves are ascending. The Mets are descending. Braves are hot. This is what the defending champs do. You play your best baseball at the end of the year. This is the final month that happens. Landa's chiming in here real quick. 12-22. We'll see. And then the number 1 team is the LA Dodgers. 93 wins, 6-4 in their last 10. They're the best team in all of baseball. And here's the thing. It seems somehow the Cardinals will match up with the Dodgers and they'll beat them because they just have the Dodgers numbers. We've seen that a bunch of times. All right, before we wrap up, we got to get into the UFC news here. So last weekend, Kenny's chiming in before we get into the UFC. Braves are good, man. Braves and Dodgers are going to be hard to beat. They are. All those teams are going to be – it's going to be a good playoff race. I'm excited to see what happens in the playoffs. We speak with former professional baseball player Jonathan Grisham almost every Monday on Buffoon and Bodkin. So check out what he's got to say. Brings a lot of good insight to things. But, yeah, I'm excited to see, especially in that National League, what happens. I think Houston right now is probably the heavy favorite in the American League. But I'm rooting for the Mariners, baby. I'm rooting for the Mariners. Mariners will probably get in the Bodkin's curse. So, but I'm jumping on their bandwagon, and I'm probably cursing them. Kershaw terrified of the birds on the bat. Exactly. Kershaw will probably sit out that round and just give it to somebody else. And I don't understand how the Dodgers keep doing it. We talked about this on Monday with Jonathan too. Like Walker Buehler's out. Gosselin is out. The guy with the long curly hair, he's out. Like they've just got guys that continue to get hurt and they continue just to perform well and play well. It's just amazing how they continue to do it. Let's get into our last bit of news here. The UFC. Oh, there we go. UFC, nice little UFC card in France. Rob Whittaker, number 1 middleweight, just pieced up Vettori for 3 rounds. I mean, it was absolutely just, he took some nice reads and just pieced them up the rest of, 2.5 rounds, really. I mean, Vettori had no answer for Rob Whitaker. We break all that stuff down on head kicks and haymakers, so make sure you watch that. And then what was an incredibly fun fight, Ciryl Gane knocks out Tai Tuivasa in just so many body kicks that Tai just couldn't take it anymore. His body couldn't take it anymore. It was a fun fight. Tai knocked Ciryl down in the second. That was probably one of the funnest fights I've watched. It looked like those guys were having fun in the cage, but Ciryl Gane with a nice win over Tai Tuivasa. We talk a lot about that in Head Kicks and Haymakers, kind of what's next for Ciryl Gane. Could it possibly be John Jones? So head over there check out that episode. We put that out on Sunday, our Head Kicks and Haymakers. So this weekend, huge fight. Not really it's a huge fight. I mean, it's a fun fight. I don't even know if it's fun. I don't know what to call this fight. Interesting fight is the word I guess I'm looking for. UFC 279, Nate Diaz versus Khamzat Chimaev. I mean, it's a quirky fight, I guess, right? Like Nate Diaz, we all know who Nate Diaz is. Legend in the sport. Kill or be killed. And now he's going up against the guy that the UFC is grooming to be that next killer. Nate even says, hey, the pressure's on him to kill me, and the pressure's on me to stop him from killing me, to show that I'm still the killer in this game. So Nate kind of said that yesterday. It's Nate's last fight, possibly in the UFC. I think if he wins, they're going to give him a huge contract, but he's got to win. And he's a heavy, heavy, heavy dog. I mean, it's like plus 600 or something like that for Nate Diaz. Just wild. And Nate Diaz, remember, his last fight was against the welterweight champ Leon Edwards. And really, he kind of, Nate thinks he won. I love Nate Diaz. There's an interview with on ESPN that Nate did with Brett Okamoto, and Nate speaks with such conviction about things. It makes you believe it, even though your eyes told you something different. It was just, and that's what I love about Nate Diaz. There's nobody more that believes in himself and speaks with such conviction than Nate Diaz. But big fight for Nate Saturday. I'm going to be rooting for him. We'll be breaking down that card. We're going to have a little special Friday night Head Kicks and Haymakers UFC 279 preview show. Why not, right? Like, why not do a little special show? Because it is Nate, the great Diaz. In the Diaz Army. I'm excited to break that card down on Friday night. Check it out. It'll be happening right here at 8:30 Central. Folks, that wraps up this week's Bodkin Show. Remember, we'll be back tonight right here, 8:30 Central, breaking down week 1 of the NFL. We're going to be breaking down every game. We're going to be picking every game against the spread. Me, Kenny Craig, we got a guest picker coming in, and then at the back end of the show, we'll have a little K&K Fantasy Corner. Kenny and Craig giving you some fantasy tips. Get ready for week 1. We are 1 day away, folks, from the NFL season kicking off. Bears and Bills, Rams kicking off week 1. Super Bowl preview, really. I mean, could very easily be Super Bowl preview. I actually picked the Rams. I had to pick the Rams because Craig picked my 2 teams. So I had the Rams and the Colts. If you check that show out again, and you can tell in that show on Sunday that I was about to die if you watch it. But I'm back to health. I feel good. I'm excited for football season. I'm excited to talk sports with everybody. And I'm excited to be with you guys every Wednesday morning. Every Wednesday night, we'll be bringing those weekly picks and games. So, all right, folks. Y'all have a rest of the week. I'll see you tonight. We'll be back here tonight, folks, hammering down some picks against the spread. Me, Kenny, and Craig. And every week, we're going to try to have a little different guest picker. I'm excited. We'll be bringing the energy, bringing the fun, giving you some nice picks, giving you some fantasy advice. Make sure you guys are hitting that, subscribe button. Be a friend, tell a friend, share with a friend. We're on Spotify, Apple iTunes. Head over there, give it a nice little 5-star rating if you could. Tell your family members, tell your grandma, tell your great auntie, tell everybody. Help a brother out. All right, we'll see y'all in about a little over 12 hours or so. See ya.